there was a Zen master, Soryu, maybe you know who this was. I can't remember the origin of the expression. Ping Chang Xin Shi Dao. Well, you might know Dao, the cosmic way. Shi means is. Xin, you might know, means mind or consciousness or heart. The ordinary consciousness is the way, the cosmic way. Well, what's the ordinary consciousness? The ordinary consciousness is scattered in all directions, then obsessing on one thing, then scattered in all directions, then obsessing on one thing, then scattered in all directions, or maybe scattered and obsessing at the same time, same instant. Is that the cosmic way? Absolutely. That scattering, that's just nature expanding. That's expansive flow. That thing that you call fixation, that you make a problem, that's just nature contracting, contractive flow. If you look at it that way, you don't have a problem. It's just space dancing. So in the mind, in the body, both in pleasant guises and in unpleasant guises, and if it presents itself saliently, you might want to make it a theme in your practice. In fact, it could present itself so intensely that you sort of have no choice but to make it a theme in your practice, because there's hardly anything else that you can detect. That's in the most extreme cases, an experience that's technically called bhanga. You can look it up on the internet, B-H-A-N-G-A, when the flow and the vanishing become so intense that they just dominate your experience. Once again, plenty of people have become enlightened without ever having that experience, okay? Just something to know can happen. How about external experience? How about sounds? Well, do they sort of vibrate? Do they sort of boom? Okay. Is it easy to detect the vanishing of certain kinds of sounds? You can listen, if you choose the right kind of music with well-defined phrase structures, you can listen to the gones, to the unborn absolute silence, whence the music comes and whither it returns moment by moment, just by choosing the right kind of music to do a music meditation with. It has well-defined phrase structures. Da 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 da, gone. Da 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 da, gone. Da da da, gone. Da 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 da, gone. You can hear those endings very clearly defined. So sound space could be an exploration of impermanence. Sight is much more tricky to work with. But if you defocus your eyes, things get sort of swirly, okay? And then you might say, well, that's just an illusion. But then you're using that to develop a kind of equanimity with sight. And then when you start looking in the ordinary way, they're still sort of more fluid, okay? One of the payoffs that comes from late night sitting and all night sitting, we'll have another Yaza late night sit on Thursday, is that correct? Is that right? Yes. So you'll have an opportunity about 3 in the morning, your eyes will start to swim, okay? And so will the external world. And that can be an interesting venue to penetrate the somethingness of the so-called material world in front of you in sight space. So although it's a bit more challenging, we can have the experiences of impermanence, flow and vanishing in sight space. In fact, if you look carefully, each time your eye shifts, when it goes from one side to another, the world that was just falls away. It's a little tricky. You have to sort of look out of the corner of your eye as you shift, but it definitely goes ka-chunk. That's vanishing in sight space. And all of our senses have, both in their ordinary active guise of touch, sight, sound, feel, image, talk, or in the special, tranquil, restful sort of a meditative experiences of relaxation, light, silence, peace, blank, quiet. In all of these experiences, there is the possibility for some hint of either flowing kind of change or abrupt vanishing. And if one wanted to pursue this as a theme, one could. Why would one perhaps want to do that? Well, it can be very, although sometimes it can be harsh, sometimes, often, and in the end, it's very soothing. And you get the sense that the substance of your being is being worked on, energia, a working within that is working out the poison and pain. It's a kind of purificatory experience. It's also a unifying experience because flow tends to flow, and it cuts across the distinctions. In this path, there's a place for making empowering distinctions, distinguishing touch, sight, sound, feel, image, talk, these different dimensions of sensory experience. There's also a place for those distinctions disappearing. And one of the ways that those distinctions disappear in an empowering way is that the flow and vanishing unifies them. And larger and larger pieces of sensory experience turn into a flow field. And when external sight and internal image, external sound and internal talk flow together, then the boundary between inside and outside disappears. And that's a very natural way to come to an integration, a unification. And since the fundamental separation of inside and outside is more or less synonymous with fear, clearly you understand why I choose the word empowering in speaking about the theme of impermanence.